Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope y'all are doing well. Glad to see so many of you in here tonight. What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Present but drained. I feel that. I feel like quite a few folks are in the same boat. That's all right. Gonna have some fun tonight. Do a little bit more practice. Have a little fun with objects. Hopefully blow a brain or two. Have some fun though. What's going on? So the question today is, would you rather be rescued by Batman or Spider-Man? I'm curious. Batman or Spider-Man? Who would you rather be rescued by? I think there is another birthday. I think it's time for the birthday hat. We're gonna let everybody get in here first. And then we'll do our birthday. Sheenan, thank you for the sub. And you threw in your Spider-Man. All right, I see you, Spider-Man. Cool. We got a lot of Spider-Mans in here. All right, a few Batmans here and there, but a lot of Spider-Mans. All right. I don't know. So like, getting rescued by Spider-Man would be dope, but like meeting Batman and like, I don't know, maybe he needs a new sidekick. I don't know. Just used your winter break to learn the Pern stack. That's awesome. Hope it went well. Batman would break my wrist for jaywalking. Bugaboo. Maybe he needs a website. Doesn't matter. It could be Spider-Man. It could be Batman. As long as they need a website, they can come rescue me. They're definitely going to get that pitch, though. This is a tough one. I feel like I want to be like, I think being rescued by Spider-Man would just be dope. Like I could just imagine him like holding me in his big arms, just swinging me from building to building, you know? I'm just free, swinging freely. But Batman would be pretty dope because it's Batman and he's rich and maybe could support my lifestyle, become an OnlyFans contributor, you know? There's positives and negatives here, you know? Interesting. So I put a little Easter egg in the email just to see if people are actually opening them. We have like a really high open rate on the emails, but of course Alyssa right out the gate put the little Easter egg right in the chat. I didn't know you read the emails, but I'm not surprised. What's going on, everybody? All right, so we got some fun stuff tonight. A little bit more review, as always. Pi, hey, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the 4 months. That's wild. Sheenan 2 with the 4 months. That is wild. I was just curious. Like, we have a really high open rate, like 30% open rate on emails, which is wild. From like all my other stuff that I send out emails for, like they don't get opened. But 30%, I think that's pretty damn high. And I put a little Easter egg in for this one just to see who is actually opening it. My Texas toast. Ooh, with the 4 months as well. Thank you so much. Hype train out the gate. This is wild. Like every stream, hype train right out the gate. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all being here. All right. There's an email list. There is an email list. I'm not actually sure if there's a shortcut for it in Discord, but if you go to the 100 devs, like in one of the like sign up things, it asks you for the email if you want to join the email list. It's just like a nice way to it's just a nice reminder, right? Like you have the Discord reminders, but like seeing it in your email is like a good way to like be like, oh snaps, class is about to start. Kishant, yay! Thank you for the 3 months of Jeff Bezos's bucks. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ooh, and we hit that hype train too. Yeah, it goes to the promotional folder. STL Fountain, woo, let's go. 4 months of the Prime. Spending all that Jeff Bezos bucks. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Alrighty, folks. Got some fun stuff. As always, let's go ahead and open it up for some questions first. If you got questions coming in, let's get some questions coming in. I'm conflicted on how to begin a hand-on approach to learning the programming and how to build a portfolio. Learn the basics and then build, my friend. Learn the basics and then build. Build whatever your little heart desires, or big heart desires. I don't know. All right. So we've been kind of taking these 10 weeks to learn all the basics, the fundamentals. We're kind of finishing out the last of the big things tonight, which is objects. After that, we're going to be building our butts off. So if you're new, welcome. Exclamation point 100 devs in chat will get you everything you need to know about the program we're running here. But we've just got the basics down. We were starting from scratch, folks that had never touched code before, to kind of really kind of grasping the basics. And now we're going to start building big things. So I got a client. Where do I document that and hand it in? I'll be sharing a form closer to the due date on how to submit all of that. I'll be sending something soon. Don't worry. Also, we have if you have questions, bring them in. Would you say it's best to split with big apps between functional, object-oriented, and mixed programming with JavaScript? I think they each kind of have their own use case, like they're their own tools, right? Hey, General Knox, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate that. Each have their own place and time, right? I'm going to actually chill the music here a little bit. And for different parts of projects, I'll use different things. Legend of Lala, hey, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, it kind of comes down to what I need to get done and if that's the right tool for the job. I'm not afraid to mix and match. But most of my code will be OOP. Very rarely I'll have some functional stuff, but 99% of the time I'm doing OOP. Oh, Rossi, hey, thank you for the bits. We do have a birthday today, so I actually don't know if they're in chat though. I'm gonna get my head in there. Reptar, happy birthday! You're one of the triple OGs. You've been here since the early beginning. We appreciate you so much. Happy birthday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having some fun. And I hope that you're watching this on YouTube and not in class. Happy birthdays in chat. There we go. There we go. I love it. Wall of happy birthdays. Perfect. All right. Other questions. Questions before we get into today. I want to give folks a few more seconds to get in here, and then we're going to jump into it. Lots of good stuff to go over. I'm going to talk through about what's coming up next week. It's going to be hands down the best week we've ever had. I'm going to explain everything. Knox, merch, not today. But I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why not today. I'm going to explain why not today. I'm going to explain why, though. It's bigger. It's better. I'm going to explain why. We make fun. Hey, thank you for the 3 months. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Disrespect. No. It's bigger. The week we have planned next week. Oh baby. Whew. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be the funnest time we've ever had on this stream. All right. Few more questions. Always like to give folks a few seconds to get in here. Everything is always next week. It is. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why in a few seconds. I've been trying to get this thing off and running for like, honestly, 3 weeks now. Well, months. It's been months in planning, but like the window for getting it done has been like sliding. It's big. It's huge. It's really big. I'm going to explain in a few minutes. No, I want to explain it, Crumb. This is exciting. It's like one of the coolest things that's ever happened. All right. Working on my first web dev project since RC. Huge budget too. Aw, hey. I miss pasta nights too. Hope you're doing well too. Let's catch up off stream for sure. Does next week include a break? Just kidding. They're drowning a little. No, remember we're turning it up. We're turning it up. But if you need to take a break, we're gonna talk about how to do that. Domino's sponsored. Dak, I wish Domino's was sliding in to sponsor, but not. All right, let's talk about it. Ooh, Brain Cavity said, "How do you not get burnt out from coding?" And that leads into our phenomenal first topic. Burnout is real. Burnout often happens right as you get into the trough of sorrow. M30, hey, thank you for the bits. Thank you so much. All right. Right as you get into that trough of sorrow. And we said last class we're there. Last class we all agreed we're in the trough of sorrow. We're there now, right? Rezo, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. I'm doing good today, chat. Look at that. Almost done. So once you get into that trough of sorrow, things start to get real. Once the novelty wears off, once the idea of like, oh, if I learn these skills, I'm going to get a great job. And then the daydreaming that happens when you start thinking about getting that great job, that all comes to a grinding halt right about now, right? When the willpower you had, the motivation you had is getting tested by arrays and array methods. When the motivation and willpower that you had at the beginning of the year is being tested with objects and APIs that aren't working, that all comes and starts happening now, right? And so the first and foremost, I said it last time, and I'm going to keep saying it. The first thing you got to remember is health first. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is for the rest of your life. If you need to take a weekend, if you need to take a class, take it. Just communicate. Let me know on Discord. Hey, Leon, I need a break. This class isn't going to make it. Cool. As long as you're communicating, you're good on my end. But you should also be thinking about yourself too. Realizing, all right, I've been pushing myself pretty hard. This stuff is mentally exhausting. This stuff is mentally challenging. It's throwing yourself at a brick wall and hoping it loosens every day over and over again. And there's a reason why not everyone's a developer, because that process is difficult. It's frustrating. It's mentally and physically exhausting. And so you have to be doing stuff that helps you to manage the frustration, doing things that help you remain healthy, doing the things that are putting your eye on the prize. That's a marathon, not a sprint. Right? And so if you need a day, take it. You need a weekend, take it. There's no shame, and there's no shame in taking that time for yourself to recharge a little bit, to do the things that aren't coding, to take a break. Heck, I when we first started, like the first couple of weeks, I took a break. I was like, look, y'all, I need a mental health day. I need to get my stuff together, and I took it, and I had the next stream was wonderful. Like, we're here to be supportive. We're here to recognize that this is not just something that's quick. It's something that's for the rest of our life. And so if you need to take a break and time, do it. Also, you should be doing all those little things that we talked about over the beginning of the course to make sure you're staying healthy. Are you getting up at the top of the hour if you're able, right? Are you doing your stretches if you're able? Are you taking care of your eyes if you're able? Are you not just staring at a screen for 4 or 5 hours at a time? Are you getting some hand stretches in? Are you drinking your water? Are you doing all these little things that we've talked about? They're going to keep you in this race for the long term, right? And so if you're not, that's something that you want to start incorporating, or else you will burn out, right? You will burn out. It's going to happen. And not only will you burn out mentally, you're going to burn out physically. I mentioned this on stream a couple of times, but at Resilient Coders, our students work really hard. They put in 12-hour days every day for 20 weeks. And by the end of each cohort, there's 1 or 2 folks that wind up having to go to the hospital because they weren't taking care of their hands as well as they should have. They're spending too much time sitting down, fingers on keyboards, and not giving their hands rest, breaks, making sure they're getting up, right? And so you want to make sure that you're doing all those little things. There's a reason why I ask everyone if you're able to get up at the top of the hour. There's a reason why I asked you to hydrate, right? It's important. It's important. Kanu, I quit drinking Coke. I only drink water now. It was tough. I feel you. Diet Coke has been a staple of my life since I was little. And Kat convinced me to drink water. So now I'm drinking water. But yeah. So one thing I think is really important is to not get into like the idea of like hustle culture around code. Like, yes, like you want to learn as quickly as possible to get the job, but grinding out, until your eyes bleed is not something that's going to help you in the long term. Also, we know that like you need to be doing your active recall and your spaced repetition. If you're not making time for your active recall and your spaced repetition, you're not getting your sleep and you're not doing the memory consolidation, it's you're going to forget everything, right? We saw the forgetting curve. We know that we need to be prioritizing our Anki. We know we need to be prioritizing our active recall. And yeah, we're turning things up a little bit. It's getting a little bit spicy here, but you can still pace yourself. And if you ever do need time, please just ask for it. We'll make it work. I will help you get caught up. I love grinding till my eyes bleed. I missed 2 drinks. I was too busy ranting for my drinks. Count the shells. Hey, Kat. Hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to the both of you. Kat, I looked at your felt things. They're dope. They're so cool. I saw you post in the Discord. They're so neat. It's so hard to be patient when learning JS, but I'm glad there's lots of seats on the struggle bus with all you find people. Yeah, there's the struggle bus is full right now. And I'm telling you, like I probably had, just so you know that you're not alone, I had 10 people reach out today. Today alone. 10 people reached out today to say, hey, Leon, I need a break today. 10 people. Literally 10 people said, hey, mental health is not the best. I need a break. Cool. Take the break. You need it. Like, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Shadi, hey, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Right. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid if you feel like you're behind. There's always time to catch up. And next week's going to be a really fun week. I'm really excited for next week. I think after next week or so, we're going to have a planned break. At least like a day where we're going to have some sort of planned break. Like, yeah, there'll be work if you want to do some push work. But it seems like folks really need some sort of planned break. And so we'll plan one. Not next week, because next week's the best week ever. But after that, we'll get a spring break on the board. There you go, Yobi. We'll get a spring break on the board. Contreras said, calendar showing no availability. When it will be open? People booked me out through all of January. So probably next week I'll open up more slots for February. I always kind of got to look at my calendar. So if you go to leonnoel.com/booktime, you can always grab a slot one-on-one with me Monday. I always talk to 20 individuals one-on-one every Monday. But those slots kind of fill up very, very quickly. So if you want a guaranteed one-on-one with me, go ahead and use that link, but I'll open them up more next week. Yeah. Nuclear, we're going to Myrtle. Let's go. I wish that we could do like an in-person meetup. That'd be dope, but that's not happening for a while. I would love to do like mini meetups. That'd be really cool. Just out of curiosity, what is taking more of your time, 100 devs or resilient coders? Oh, 100% resilient coders. We have 40 new folks. And so for like my normal schedule is I wake up at 6, I get my exercise in, then I prepare my materials for class for resilient. Class goes until, so I'm mixing up like PST and class goes until around stream starts. Yeah. And so I'm either like an hour before stream starts, I kind of stop and I start prepping everything again for 100 devs. And then once 100 devs over, I try to get like an hour or 2 hours in of like prepping 100 devs. Right. And then on Saturdays, I prep all my RC stuff. So it's a pretty good mix of my time, but now that we have 40 folks that just started, there's a lot of time going into it. But pretty much my day is RC, my night is 100 devs. It takes a long time to put these slides together. It takes a lot of time to put these starter code together, to answer all the messages and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I would say my day, like until stream, is typically RC, and then after stream is pretty much all 100 devs, trying to catch up and get everything prepped. I always take Sundays off. So I work pretty long days every day. I work typically all day Saturday, and then Sundays I take off. Yeah. Hey, Alyssa, thank you for the bits. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So, health first. If you need a break, just tell me. Please don't suffer. Just take a break. And if you get really behind, let me know. We'll find a way to get you caught up. We'll get a Monday meeting scheduled or something after office hours or something. We'll make it work. So if you need it, health first, please. You're a third of the way into this. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Your hands, your physical well-being, your mental well-being. That we're in this for another 20 weeks. We're in this for the rest of our careers. Be careful. Cheese, please. You have one supportive wife. She's an amazing wife. Yes. She's also doing her PhD. So she's just as busy as I am, if not more. There we go. Wait, was it somebody else's birthday? Who else's birthday? Oh, is Reptar in here? I didn't see them. Reptar. Oh, there you are. Hey. Reptar, happy birthday. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Hey, let's go. Celebrate. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a good time with the family. All right. Coding challenges. This is me every night trying to get the coding challenges working. This is my face that I make. So it's been wild trying to get this to work. So we're gonna start fresh on Monday. We're going to have it kicking off Monday. You'll see it go through automatically. I'm pretty 100% sure now that it's ready to go. Yeah. MB, hey, thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you so much. So don't worry about the coding challenges that I provide, right? Those will start fresh on Monday, right? And then but do worry about the code wars that I've asked you to do. So coding challenges are the ones I put in the daily challenge, but you also have some code wars to get through as well. So yeah, you have code wars in the meantime to keep you happy and healthy. Cool. Next week, like I said, next week's gonna be the greatest week we've ever had. Next week, if we're gonna do an extra class on Friday, so not this Friday, not tomorrow, but next Friday, we're gonna have an extra class where we're gonna go over our portfolio and resume review. Same starting time, 6:30. We're only gonna go for like an hour and a half, not that long. We just want to get an extra day in a week. We have to have 70 people here. And we have to have an extra day because we want to unlock partners so that folks that need the quality settings can have them. Because right now everyone gets quality settings, and the only way we get that is if we get partners. So talk to Twitch. We have everything we need except for days streamed. And so hopefully we're going to put this extra day in. Hopefully we can get a good chunk of folks to show up. And that'll hopefully put us over partners so we can finally get quality settings. And everyone that might have a slightly weaker internet connection can follow along live. So not this Friday, next Friday, we're going to add an extra class. If you would like me to go over your resume or portfolio live, quite a number of folks have submitted some. I'm going to go through, pick some really good ones, pick some ones that have a lot of room for improvement so we can talk through them and then hopefully give you a better idea of what should be in your portfolio and your resume so you can make them really, really good. Yeah, next Friday. To submit the code wars, just put them in a code pen, a JS bin, or whatever when you're filling out the form. If you want to submit your resume, this Google form right here, I'll take it to you. There's the Google form is also in the follow along materials channel with all the material for today as well. So if you're new, we're doing a 30-week software engineering bootcamp. Still okay time to join. You can join our Discord, !Discord, agree to the rules, and then you'll see the following materials channel that I'm talking about. That'll have all the starter code for today and everything else that you would need. All right. Can we submit end of day? Absolutely. All right, let's keep going. If you haven't checked in, you can always do !check in, and that'll give you the tweet for today. Always appreciate the retweet and the like, just so that we can have more folks finding about the stream and helping them learn how to code too. All right. I told you we're turning it up a little bit. Getting a little spicy here. Getting a little spicy. Somebody asked if I need to take a mental break, what do I do? Just hit me up on Discord. You can send me a DM. Those are a little slow. I won't get back to you right away. Probably a day or two at the best to get back, because I get a lot of them. But I try my hardest to get through all of them every day. You can always reach out on mod mail as well if you need direct help. So things are going to get turned up a little bit. Going to get turned up a little bit. And so with that said, let's push it. So you're going to see that the base level of work is going to increase. Not like you're going to have some more homework, some more reading, some more videos to get through, some more coding to do, right? Before we've done just a little bit of reading, now we're going to start turning it up a little bit. We're going to start pushing it a little bit. And then a lot of folks have asked, hey, Leon, I want more. Like, I want to push more. M30A. Push it real good. I listened to this song like 20 times today. When I was looking for these gifts, I just had the song playing in the background forever. So folks keep asking, hey, Leon, I get through the work and I want to push. So what you're going to see every class is going to be a section called Want to Push, and that'll be some extra work for you. So if you have more time during the week to commit to 100 devs, I want to start giving you things that I think will be helpful accessories to kind of give you like extra stuff to do during that time. And so it's not a requirement for Bootcamp. You're not going to be missing out on like materials that we'll be covering for class. But if you have the privilege of more time, you can go ahead and use the push material as well. Where are you guys going? You really think we don't know what you're doing? Who are these monsters that want more? Yeah, there's a surprising number of folks that are putting in like a normal work day every day on 100 devs, and so they keep reaching out, they keep wanting some more, so that's there for you. Now, please, for the love that is all holy, if you do not have the luxury of all that extra time, do not push yourself to do the push. This is for a specific number of folks that do have like all day to commit to this and want an extra stuff to do, some extra things to be working on. So please don't feel like you have to be doing this. This is for those very specific folks that just want to fill that time with something productive and that'll help support the things that we are covering in class. Okay? Yeah. All right. I know a lot of folks don't have that privilege, but I want to make sure that the folks that do have a little bit more to do. So if you're ready to push it, you can push it, and I'll start including that in each of the materials. Cool. Get hype. Next week is going to be the best week we've ever had. Now, here's what's been happening behind the scenes that has made this kind of difficult. We had 2 folks that wanted to sponsor a class. And this is like going months back, and it would go well for a bit, and then the holidays hit, and then it's kind of hey, Liquid Words, what's going on? Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the 4 months. What? Right? So we had a sponsor. That smaller sponsor fell through after dozens of emails and calls and stuff. That sponsor fell through. But then blessings come abound. A way bigger sponsor came through. And they're looking for a class on something that we already have lined up. And so this huge sponsor came through, and they fingers crossed, because I've seen like the deals I've been trying to work have not always worked out, but we're so close. We're super close, right? And so this sponsor's huge. You know who they are. They want to give out swag and do all this fun stuff. So hoping next week is the best week of stream ever. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. One, I'm going to have a huge thank you stream just to say thank you to everyone on Tuesday or Thursday, just because this is blew my expectations out of the water. I'm writing 4-figure checks to RC on the regular, hopefully now, as all these subs and bits and everything. Because if you're new, everything that's subbed and bits, it all gets donated to the nonprofit I work at during the day. And so I want to do like a big thank you to everyone that's been a part of the community, that's made it what it is. And so that's next week, like just a thank you. If you've been here, if you sat in class, thank you. If you've ever done bits or subbed, thank you. Never, ever, ever will you see me ask for it or think that it's required, but I appreciate when you do. Eternal Student A, thank you for the 4 months. And it's so wild. It's so wild to say 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. That just blows my mind. Dak, thank you for the hydration. M30, thank you for the bits. So, big thank you next week. Big thank you. It looks like we're probably going to have that sponsor stream next week as well. We got some Alyssa, hey, thank you for the bits. Ooh, 300 biddies. Thank you so much. So we got that sponsor stream coming through. We got new merch dropping. Yes. We got a new look for the stream dropping. We're going to unveil all the new stuff on Discord. It's just going to be literally the best week we've ever had. And so I hope you get hype. I hope you're ready for some fun. I hope you're ready for some really positive changes. And so next week, I can't wait for you to be here. So we're getting there. I've been trying to make deals in the background. I think those deals are going to pay off. And so I'm hyped to get there. Lego. All right. Wait, no more space cats. Yeah, I still have the space cats from when we need them. They're still here. We got them. We got them. There's one there. There's one over there. You know, we got them here. The sponsor is Space Cats. And one of these days, we're gonna make it happen. I think whenever we do the tweets for class, I'm just gonna keep tagging Domino's over and over again until they see whenever this person tweets, we get like 300 retweets on Domino's post. And so I think that's how we'll get the Domino's sponsorship later on. But that's next level plays. But yeah, next week, best week of 100 devs ever. Please don't miss it. Please be here for that week. Please don't want to miss it. It's gonna be a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun. It's gonna be a fun week. So excited for that. Now, shall we get into it, folks? Shall we get into it? K-Coughs haven't missed a day. Woo, kudos to you. Anonymous Cheer, thank you for the 100 bits. Izzy, thank you for the 200 bits. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the bits and subs and everything today. It's been wild. Every stream we come right out the gate with the hype train. That just blows my mind. So thank you everyone that's here. All right. Let's get into it, folks. We are going to do a quick review like we did last class. Quick review of our functions, our conditionals, our loops, and our arrays. We got 2 kind of like practice sets to do, and then that should probably take us through the first hour, and then the rest of our time will be objects today. All right. Been here since pre-100 devs day 1. All right, let's go. Cool. So we're here to learn how to program. If you're new, welcome. What is a program? A program is simply a set of instructions that you write to tell a computer what to do. Therefore, the act of writing those programs is what we call programming. So if you're here to learn how to program, you're just learning how to write instructions that a computer can understand. All right, the language we're using is JavaScript, right? And JavaScript has a lot of these key things that we have to learn: variables, conditionals, loops, functions, arrays, objects. And today we will have the total landscape laid down. And then we have like our really nice foundation that we can build on. I just missed it. You get a Leon bikini. We all get a bikini next week. Alrighty. I'm contrarian, so I'm learning anti-gramming. Alrighty. Variables are a way for us to remember values to use later on. We can declare a variable, which is where we create a space of memory, and then we can assign that space of memory a value. And then here on this last line, we're doing both at the same time. We're doing our declaration and our assignment to create that space of memory and to put a value into it. If at any point I asked for age, I would get 25 back. If you're new, we're going to go through this pretty fast. You can do exclamation point 100 devs. There's a section on how to get caught up. You can use that and then come join us live as well. All right. Talked about conditional syntax. Conditionals. We're always going to check to see if a condition is true. If it is true, we do what's inside the curly braces. If it's false, we move on to the next one. Remember, you can have an if and as many else ifs as you want, so you can check multiple things. And then you can also have an else. This else does not have a condition. It just automatically runs if everything else above it was false. It doesn't need to check anything. Automatically is often a very hot word on bingo. So if you would like to follow along, have something fun to pay attention to while you're going through class, exclamation point bingo if you haven't been playing for a while. Thank you, Cross and Diabolical, for doing that. Alrighty. When we're checking our conditionals, we can have multiple conditionals. So you can have where you're checking for both things to be true. Whenever you have the and, both sides must be true. So name equals Leon, that is true. Status equals ballin', so you get the wink. Beautiful. All right, we can also have or, where as long as one is true, the whole thing evaluates to true, right? That's funny, Izzy. So we can have or, and as long as one thing is true, the whole thing evaluates to true. So if day is Saturday or it's Sunday, we know it's the weekend. Cool. Remember, you can have and ors and chain them together. Functions. What are functions? Functions are a simple set of instructions that are reusable, should ideally eventually perform one action when we get to clean code, and they're the building blocks of our programs. Those are the things that are going to be doing all the work for us. Remember, if programming is a set of instructions or writing those sets of instructions, then functions are going to be the main way that we write those instructions. Zerkito, hey, thank you for the hydration. Thank you so much. Cheers to you. Alrighty. Remember, functions, you're setting up a function declaration here. Function declarations have the function keyword, a name, and then you have any parameters, like the placeholders you're going to use inside your function when you're setting it up. And then you can call the function. Unheard Pineapple. Thank you for the 2 months. Thank you for being here. What? What? That's wild. Cheese, please. Thank you so much. That was way too excessive. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted subs. Holy smokes. That is wild. That's so much money going to RC. I really appreciate that. We got 40 folks that we took underneath our wings. Those the stipends we pay are rough. And so that helps. Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. See, I started saying your name right. And it paid off. Thank you so much, Cheese Please. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always being in chat. And of course, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Jesus. Whew. Can we get a huge wall of Micro Leon in the chat for us, please? Just as a thank you to Cheese Please. Just spam the emote, especially if you just got the emote from Cheese Please. Please spam it. Spam it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. Whew. Look at that wall. That's for you, Cheese Please. Thank you so much. All right. It's also so cool to see that wall. Damn. Life is good. Life is good. Life is really good. Hey, Izzy, thank you for the bits. Thank you so much. All right. Let's keep going, folks. Let's keep going. Thank you again. I really appreciate that. Sincerely, thank you so much. That was too much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here always. All right. Here's a function. This is a real function here, right? You have a function here. It has a name of yell. You can see it has a parameter of word that's important to pay attention to, because here we are calling the function. We are passing in our argument of hello. That argument gets passed into the word parameter, and wherever we see word, it's actually hello. Remember, you declare your function, and whenever you want to call it, you call it to argue, right? Hello is our argument. Cool. Loops. What are loops? Loops enable you to repeat an action a number of times. There's three main types of loops in JavaScript: for, while, do, while. Each type has a different kind of way that starts and stops the loop. The common one that we've seen is a for loop, right? Where we start our counter, we say when we stop, and then how much that counter goes up by each time. And then we can do whatever is inside those curly braces multiple times. All right. We got some review to do here. And so let's go ahead. If you're new, you need the slides, right? If you need the slides, exclamation point slides. If you need the starter code, exclamation point Discord in chat. That'll take you to our Discord community. Agree to the rules. And there's a follow along materials channel that's going to have all the starter code that you need for this evening, including the turbo review. Now, it's not turbo review because it's fast review. It's a turbo review because of, Power Rangers Turbo. We got to keep the theme going here tonight, folks. All right. There's a lot here. So there's quite a few things here. I'm going to go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock. 10 minutes on the clock, folks. I thought it was Turbo Man. All right. 10 minutes on the clock here. All right, let's start the 10 minutes. Good luck. Hey. Hey. All right. You like the music? All right, there we go. I'm glad you like it. Wilson F baby, I think that needs to be a channel goal. Straight jacket, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm not going to ever kind of do any important stuff while you're working, so you don't need to be listening to me. Be vibing out to the music. Get your work done. Leon, will you be my best friend? Sure, why not? Cookie. Cookie said, baby making code music. Let's go. What's going on with the last loop question? I don't understand it. Basically, that loop is what that loop is doing is just you're playing the game multiple times. So it's just going to play the game however many times that you pass in. So you want to create an array that has your choices, like rock, rock, paper. And then the game will play 3 times with rock, rock, paper. Automod was a little frisky today. All the new people, welcome, welcome. Tarabiz, Mukmi, Granum, welcome, welcome. Interesting PvP, Sentinel. Hey. Yeah, it's related to the other two, Sheenan. Yeah, so it builds. The last three build on top of each other. So you got to get the function one before you can do the conditional, and the conditional before you do the loops. Am I supposed to do work when I'm bopping? Hey, I hope it helps. The lo-fi keeps me going. When the code's hard, I gotta put the lo-fi on. By string of multiple words, you don't mean an array, right? Yeah, correct. I just want a string that has multiple words inside of it. So one string, not an array. I can do the function, almost the other two. Let's go. Ski, what's up, Ski? How you doing? I love that emote. Whose emote is that? That's hilarious. I love Mr. Bean. There's a CodeFi channel. That's cool. I didn't know about that. Splice? You don't need to. I mean, maybe. But I don't think you need it for this one. I want to grow up and be Mr. Bean. Nurkler said, I was offered a part-time 1099 position at a tech company today. That's dope. Congratulations. During a follow-up coffee chat. See, coffee chats, folks. Need some advice and guidance on navigating the compensation discussion. Told him I would let him know next week in our continuation of the conversation. Send me a DM on, actually send me a mod mail on Discord and we'll set up a time. I have a few openings tomorrow. So if you have some time tomorrow, let's talk about it. Congrats, that's huge. Mookme, hey, never thought I would come to Twitch for an interactive classroom to learn a language, such a positive vibe. Hey, welcome. Glad you stopped by. If you have questions, throw them in here, but you can also do !100 devs to see what we're up to. 30-week software engineering bootcamp. Hello, it's Rufio. That's a good name. This one's hard. Yeah, this one's a little tricky. We're going to go over it, though. If it's too much, don't worry. We'll go over it. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Yeah, Nuclear, that's huge. Congrats. That's so awesome. Well done. That's the 100 dev spirit right there. Hey. Hernani, I think that's how you say it. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Mook, we're gonna do, it's a full stack, so we're gonna cover the first third of the class was all about learning the basics of JavaScript. Then we're gonna move into full stack web development, so Node on the back end, Mongo, Postgres, and then some React. All with the intention of helping folks get jobs to skill up and get a new career. This beat makes life better. I like it. It's a little smoother, you know? Found it hard to tell people I was dedicating this much time to Twitch class. Leah's been so amazing. Would defend this class to the end, though. Hey, Phillips. I love that. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Oh, Hernan AI. Cool. That's dope. Do you do ML stuff? Got no pancake mix. Are we learning Express? Yeah, we'll be learning Express. Blah, done. All right. I see you. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to spare. All right. Way to go. First time, Tara? Hey, welcome. Yeah, everything's free here. Whole program's free. I'll never recommend a resource that's not free. And I'll never sell a course or put anything behind a paywall. Welcome. Can you get a job with just JavaScript Foundations? I'm sure a job exists where you could get one, but you're probably limiting your pool significantly. Yeah. If you just have just JavaScript, your options would be very limited. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would hire you to do it, but all the things that we learn here about increasing our odds, right? And especially as we get into the final third of program, all the little things that we cover are just about making the odds ever more in your favor. Show them what you can do. I love that, Alyssa. Yeah. First try. All right. Ah, that's cool. Hernan, that's awesome. What did you do your thesis on? Did you have to do a thesis for your master's? What did you do it on? Got all but the last? Let's go. Hernan, I've been applying for a couple back-end dev jobs, but they all give these super complex algorithmic math leak code hackering exercises, but I refuse to take them. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the plagues of our industry, right? Look at words, your stream isn't working. No, give it a refresh. Always give it a refresh. Been a software engineer for 15 years? Hey, well, welcome. Could always use some help in our Discord. Got lots of folks learning for the first time. We could use some folks with some experience. Stop on by. ! Discord. Done. Totally cleaning this up and turning it into a page in my portfolio. Heck yeah, that's what we're talking about. Alrighty, folks. Come on back. Come on back. Kick off with that first try. Let's go. We will cover some algorithmic stuff. There are some folks that kind of opt out of it and try to try a different way. But yeah, we're definitely going to get into like a lot of the harder kind of, I'm going to call it our algorithmic toolbox. We're going to have all the data structures and algorithms you need to be successful on the job. I'm going to go ahead and chill the music here. Come on back. Come on back. One of the things that I'm very lucky to have is that I have hundreds of students that are applying every year. And so the cool thing is I get to see all the things they're being asked. I get to see all the questions. I get to see all the interviews. I get to kind of talk to them after they go through the interviews. And so I have a pretty good stockpile of not just like questions, but like real questions from real companies, things that have been asked. I have my own frequency list of algorithms. I have my own frequency list of data structures stuff. And so when I teach my data structures and algorithm stuff, it's not some like made up or like something silly. It's like, no, here are the 300 companies that my students applied to. Here are the stuff that showed up the most frequently. And that's what I'm baking into the course. And so when you're doing all this stuff, like even right now, when you're doing like these variables or like this trimming that we're going to get to in a second, when we're doing all this, this is stuff that I've like seen in interviews. Everything that I'm doing is not just because like, oh, what can I do today? No, I've seen this come up before, either with students on the job or I've seen it with somebody in an interview. So like even like these ones, like these reviews, a lot of times there's things that are influenced from what I've seen in the interview, so that when you're in an interview and somebody's asking you to search for a string for a word, you know how to do it, right? So that's kind of the idea here. Alrighty, let's go over this, folks. At a job interview, what season of Power Rangers is your favorite? There's only one answer to that. Are we going to do binary tree stuff? Yes. Very like kind of like an overview. You're going to feel comfortable with it. We're not going to go super detailed with it, but you'll know it if you see it during an interview. You'll know how to handle it. Yeah. Alrighty. Declare a variable and assign it to your favorite drink as a string. Make sure there's no white space on either side of the string and print the value to the console. Chat, what did you do to make sure there was no white space? Let's go ahead and declare a variable called favorite drink. Ooh, yeah, we got a trim going on. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and put in, I don't know, what's my favorite water right now? Water? What is my favorite drink right now? We're going to do some water. All right, let's do some water for right now. And we can go ahead and make sure there's no white space on either side of the string and print the value to the console. So let's go ahead and do fav drink equals fav drink dot trim. Cool. And then let's log it to the console. Cool. Let's save this. Domino's juice. Oh, horchata. Chat, put your favorite drink in chat for me, please. I'm very curious what your favorite drink is. What's your champurrado. Coffee, beer. Root beer. Root beer from Root Beer. I love it. Ooh, vanilla Coke. Ooh, these are some good ones. Mountain Dew Code Red. Ooh. As much as I want to say water right now, I'm going to have to say, is it Baja Blast? Baja Blast is up there. But you know what the real one is though? I'm pulling this from childhood right here. Diet Vanilla Coke from Friendlies. If you know about that wave, I don't know if you know about that, but you get a Diet Coke at Friendlies and they put vanilla syrup in it. Oh, whew. Don't know. You don't know. All right, let's see how this works. Let's go ahead and save this. We're going to head to open this in the browser. Power Rangers Turbo. Love it. Going to open up our console. Oh, it's on the right-hand side. Let's bring it back down. Go to our console here. And there we go. We got the Diet Vanilla Coke, but there's no quotes on either side. There's no white space. So that trim got rid of the white space for us on either side. Filthy Hobbits, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. That cherry lemon sundrop though. Ooh. Thank you, Alyssa. All right, so we got the trim. The trim's working. First try. Let's do the next one. So that trim is a method that got rid of the space on either side. So it got rid of this space for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Cool. Declare a variable, assign it to a string of multiple words, and check to see if one of the words is apple. How did you all check to see if a word was if there was a word called apple? How'd you do that? Oh, includes. Interesting. Anybody do a different one? Filter, search. I was thinking of search because I was thinking of like a string. So let's go ahead and create a string. But there's so many different ways you could have done this one, right? There's multiple ways you could have done this one. So let's go ahead and create a variable. Let multi-word equal, and it's just gonna be a string. Some folks are asking, right? Just a string. We're gonna say car, rainbow, apple. Right. So here's a string. Now what we can do is we can say multi-word, and we can do search if we want to, and we can throw in apple. Cool. Let's go ahead and console log this just to see what we get. Let's see what we get when we console log this. Go ahead and console log it. Let's save this. Boots with the fur. All right, let's go ahead and look at this in the console. Let's refresh. All right. We're getting 12. What does 12 mean? Anybody know what 12 means here? Anybody know what 12 means here? We got 12. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. Anybody know what 12 means? Yeah, it's kind of like the index or the char or the character location. Exactly, Kenny. It's the character location in that string. So if we were to count right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, we start at 0. So, well, sorry, probably 1 here. We have this apple, and it's at like the 12th character location. All right. Now, the interesting thing is if apple wasn't there, we would get something else. So let's go and do a quick conditional. We can just do an if here. Do an if. And if multi-word search apple does not, so we're going to do bang equals, does not equal -1, then we know that apple is there, right? So we'll say like, we can just console log, we'll just console log yes. Oh, string yes. Else we'll console log no. Cool. There we go. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to say, hey, look in that word. We didn't create a function here. We could eventually create a function that holds this, right? But we have a word here. We're going to search for apple. As long as it's not -1. -1 is what you get when it doesn't exist in the string. So if this didn't exist in the string, we would get -1. So as long as it's not -1, we know that it's there, right? If we get -1, we know that it's not there. So let's go ahead and save this real quick. Let's go back. We should see a yes. So we have a yes. Let's go ahead and remove apple from the string. Let's save it. And now we should get a no. First try. All right. Yeah, it is like regex and different. Yeah, it's nice. Can you go into detail of the -1? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Absolutely, cheese, please. So if we look at this, so we have this string here. The string has stuff inside of it. What search does is it looks inside of that string for a match. If it is a match, right? If it is a match, it returns the number, like where that character starts. So it'll put where apple starts in that string. And so that's why we got 12 back the first time. We got 12 back for the first time because that's where apple started, right? But if apple doesn't exist, like if the thing you're searching for, like the thing you're searching for here does not exist in the string, it always returns -1. That's kind of like saying like, I didn't find anything. I searched in that string. I didn't find anything. I'm going to return -1. Right? And so all we're going to do is we're going to look and we're going to say, hey, when you search for this thing in this string, right? Did you find anything? Because if you found something, you would get a number, like a number that's not -1. But if you searched and you didn't find anything, right? If you searched and you didn't find anything, right? You would get that -1. So if you did find it, you get a number that's not -1. If you didn't find it, you get -1. All right. This is a search specific thing. Yeah. You could have used includes. That works too. Like includes can be used here. Just showing you some other methods that you might not have seen before. Remember, we're trying to surface a few different things every class. Like, yes, this is review, but we still want to, see some stuff that we haven't seen before. All right, let's keep going. Alrighty, create a function that returns rock, paper, or scissors as randomly as possible. Chat, what's the trick that we're going to do, right? What is the trick that we're going to do that enables us to return rock, paper, or scissors? What did you do here to make this happen? Yeah, math.random. We saw it last class with the heads or tails, and I hinted a little bit about how we could do rock, paper, scissors, and I gave a big old wink, right? So here we go. We're going to use that math.random. Let's create a function. We're going to call it RPS for rock, paper, scissors. Or let's actually call it out. Rock, paper, scissors. Cool. So here's our function. And all this is going to do is it's going to return rock, paper, scissors as randomly as possible. So let's go ahead and say let random equal math.random. And remember, Math.random returns a number between 0 and 1, right? Returns a number between 0 and 1. And so since it's going to return a number between 0 and 1, let's put that on the screen here. Between 0 and 1. And it should do so somewhat fairly, right? Random number generation is like a hard problem, but we're going to say that this is going to get us pretty damn close to a random pick. So math.random is going to return a number between 0 and 1. And since we have 3 choices, we're just going to divide that 1 by 3. So we're going to say if random is less than 0.33, right? Then we'll return rock. Else if, right? We're going to do the next check. Else if random is less than 0.66, right? We're going to return paper. And we're going to make this a string. Sorry, I got to make these strings. These are variables right now. Let's make this a string. We're going to return rock. We're going to return paper. And if it's not less than 0.33 and it's not less than 0.66, right? The only other thing that it can be, right? The only other thing that it can be is scissors. Cool. Okay, the 0.33 lost me. All right, let's talk about it. Booty liquor first, try. All right, let's talk about it. So, math.random, right? Math.random returns a number. All it does is gives you a number. And it gives you a number between 0.01, so between 0 and 1. So it could be 0.1, 0.01, all the way up to right before 1, right? So if we have, like, let's just think of it as 100. So think of it as returning a number between 1 and 100, right? Let's think of it as returning a number between 1 and 100. Every single time it runs, it's going to return a number between 1 and 100. So what you can do is you can say, all right, anytime that it goes from 1 to 33, we're going to count that for rock. Anytime it goes from 34 to 66, we'll count that for paper. Anytime it goes from 67 to 100, we'll count that for scissors. Because we know every single time it runs, it's going to randomly give us one of those numbers. It can give us a number 1 to 100, right? So all we're doing is we're letting math.random do its thing. And we're saying, hey, if it's less than this thing, do this value. If it's less than this, do this value. And if it's not any of those, do this other one. So we're letting math.random do its thing. And we're just saying, all right, we're going to have 3 different buckets that math.random can fall in. If it returned the number 22, that falls into the rock bucket. If it returns the number 47, that falls into the paper bucket. If it returns the number 89, that falls into the scissors bucket. And that's the value we're getting. Right. Why isn't the else if like 0.33 and less than 0.66? Because it's kind of like falling through. So if it was less than 0.33, the if would have fired, right? And then if it wasn't true, we can just move on. If it was less than 0.66, the else if fires, and then we can just stop. So the idea here is that we kind of get like a little bit of a pass through. We don't have to have like an and or an or conditional here. We can just let it fall into these buckets naturally. We're just letting it fall into those buckets, right? Like if it's less than 0.33, we stop. But if it wasn't less than 0.33, we check again. Oh, wait, it wasn't less than 0.33, but is it less than 0.66? All right, then if it is, we stop. All right, if it wasn't less than 0.33 and it wasn't less than 0.66, the only thing it can be is greater than that, and then we'll just return scissors. Yeah. So remember, exactly, we only go to the next condition if the one above it was false. If it's not false, we don't continue. Right. Cool. Can this be done with a ternary? Absolutely. All right. Pi. No, it doesn't have to be. This is just less than the value, right? As long as it's less than 0.33, it'll work. As long as it's less than 0.66, it'll work. And if it's not less than 0.33 or less than 0.66, the scissors will be the value. Cool. Let's keep going here. I know this is a little bit of a tricky one. If this one is throwing you off, don't worry. We're definitely going to go back over this during office hours. Office hours every Saturday. We start at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays. All right. We're going to do these next two, and then we're going to take a break. We're over at the top of the hour. I definitely want to take a break. So let's go ahead and finish up this conditional, and then we will do the conditional, and then we'll take our break. All right. Create a function that takes in a choice, rock, paper, or scissors, and determines if they won a game of rock, paper, scissors against the bot using the above function. All right. Let's go ahead and create a function. And we'll call this like player choice. And the player choice will take in a choice. So let's go, we'll take in the choice of, we'll just call this choice, right? So you can throw in like rock or something like that. And wherever we see choice is what we're going to do. So we're going to say, all right, if choice equals, let's just say if choice equals rock. And what I want to do is I want to check for the bot. And bot choice equals scissors, right? If choice equals rock and bot choice equals scissors, then we'll say, we'll just log to the console, you won, right? So all I'm saying here is if the choice that you threw in was rock and the bot choice was scissors, you won. So let's get the bot choice here. Let bot choice equal rock, paper, scissors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, all right, well, we need to know what the bot threw, right? We need to know what the bot threw, right? We need to know what the bot threw. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this function that we made called rock, paper, scissors. We're going to call that function. What rock, paper, scissors does is when we call that function, it either spits out rock or it spits out paper or it spits out scissors, right? It either spits out rock, either spits out paper, or it spits out scissors. So one bot choice is set equal to rock, paper, scissors. Let's say it randomly chose scissors, and scissors is now where rock, paper, scissors was. So now scissors is sitting there. So bot choice equals scissors. So what we can do is we can say, all right, well, the choice that was passed in was if it was rock, and what the bot got was scissors, we're just going to let you know that you won. Okay? That's all it's doing. It's just making that comparison. All right? Then we could say, and we're not going to do all the cases here. This is going to be part of your homework to finish this, but we can say, all right, else if, all right, let's say choice equals, like we could put all of our win conditions in here. Like we could say like if choice equals rock, right, and bot choice equals scissors. We could put it all in here, right? Or, right? Or, and we just copy this again. So I'm just going to copy it. So rock beats scissors. Paper beats rock, right? So rock beats scissors, paper beats rock. We can say or, right? Scissors, right? And paper. Cool. So we just put a bunch of our win conditions in here, right? We just put a bunch of our win conditions in here. Now, there are many ways to do this. We could do a switch. We could do a better else if, right? But what I did here is I just went ahead and I put like all the win conditions, right? So if the choice was rock, right? The choice was rock and you threw scissors, right? So if you threw rock and the bot threw scissors, you won. If you threw paper and the bot threw rock, you won. If you threw scissors and the bot threw paper, you won, right? So these are all of our win conditions, right? We could also maybe check for if there's a tie, right? We could also see if it's a tie. We can say like an else if here. We can do an else if here. We can say, hey, if choice equals bot choice, right? Then you console log that you tied. All right. And then else we can just say you lost. Cool. Alrighty. Alrighty. You shouldn't throw scissors. All right. All right, let's look at this. So let's step through what we did here, and then we're going to take a lovely break. So we created a function, right? Created a function. This function uses the random math.random to get a random number between 0 and 1, right? A random number between 0 and 1, right? So we're going to do a check. Is that number less than 0.33? If it is, we want to spit out rock. If it's not less than 0.33, let's check to see if it was less than 0.66. If it was less than 0.66, we're going to spit out paper, right? Now, if the random number that we got, if the random number we got that was between 0 and 1 was not less than 0.33 and was not less than 0.66, the only other option was that it was greater than 0.66 and we would return scissors. We have just created a function that can randomly give us rock, paper, or scissors. Okay, that's it. Now, down here we have a function that's going to kind of see if we won or not. So let's actually call this like check win. I don't like player choice. Let's call this check win. All right. So now we have a function that's called check win. We're going to pass in our choice, like the choice that we chose, right? So let's say I pass in rock, right? My choice becomes rock. And then the first thing I'm going to do is get the bot's choice, right? I'm going to get the bot's choice. The bot's choice is going to pick either rock, paper, or scissors from this randomization function. Once I have the bot's choice and I already passed in my choice into the function, I can just check to see if I win. So if my choice was rock and the bot chose scissors, I won. If my choice was paper and the bot chose rock, I won. If my choice was scissors and the bot chose paper, I won. If these are our win conditions, the next thing we're going to check is, well, if I didn't win, did I at least tie? So was my choice equal to the bot choice? And if I didn't win, I didn't tie, the only other thing I have is that I lost. Right? The only thing that happens is I lost. So let's go ahead and call this real quick. All right, I'm going to do check win. And I'm going to put in a choice. I'm going to put in rock. I'm going to put in rock. I'm going to put in rock here. Hold on here. One second. I'm going to put in rock. Win, lose. All right. Will I win or lose? I'm setting up a prediction here. All right. Here we go. Let's see if this works. All right, let's see if this works. I started a prediction. And so I want you to predict if I win or lose. Now, it's either a win or a lose. So pick win or lose. There is no tie. Win or lose. There is no tie. So you got a minute to predict, and then we're gonna take our break. We'll run it until we win or lose. So it's either win or lose. Go ahead. You got a minute to throw it in here. This is getting you closer. All right. This is getting you closer to your OnlyFans. All right. Win or lose. Alrighty. This is split. People are going 50-50 on this. Although slightly edging out that we're going to win. Slightly edging out that we're going to win. We'll run it again. We'll run it again. We'll run it again until we get a win or a lose. So if we tie, we'll just keep running it until we win or lose. If our code doesn't work, hopefully you spot it that it was broken in the right way that influenced your decision, right? Maybe there's a bug here where I'll win more than I lose, or I lose more than I win. I don't know. Let's go. You got 500 on this. This is let's see. 20,000 channel points on the win and 15,000 on the lose. We're a positive community. There's nothing else that shows that we're positive. Like, look at this. This shows us we're a positive community. I'll put a stack on this. All right. We're gonna go to our console and we're gonna check to see. I think you got a second or two to get in here, win or lose. All right. Let's go. Let's run it. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Refresh. Nothing happened. Check win. Because we should have won it. It should have console logged. You won. You tied. You lost. Check when we passed in rock. Bot choices rock, paper, scissors. Spell everything right. Yeah. All right. Oh, I didn't save. I got caught up in the theatrics. I didn't save. Hold on, let me save. All right, you ready, folks? Let's go back. All right, 3, 2, 1. You lost. No. 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 That's hilarious. All right. So we are going to take our break. And while we're taking our break, we'll make sure the channel points are doled out. When we come back from break, we're going to run it back, though. We're going to come back from break. We're going to run it back. So I'm going to put a 5-minute timer on here. If you're able, please get up, do some stretching, grab some water, hydrate. When we come back, we're going to continue to go over our rock, paper, scissors here. We're going to do an array review, and then we're getting into our objects. We're going to have some fun with some APIs tonight. So 5-minute break. Take it. If you're able to, please get up, stretch, hydrate, kiss your loved ones. Oh, they got fancy. I don't even have to do anything. It just happened automatically. That's so cool. They all got badges. Thank you for pointing that out, Alyssa. Wow. That's so cool. You lost 10,000 channel points. Maybe there was a misspelling. I think there's a if you didn't spell it correctly, I think that played a factor, or if you added like an S or something like that. Being a pessimist finally paid off. All right, I'm gonna put some music on. Thank you, Indifferent. Enjoy the break. 4 minutes. This was rigged. I want my money back. Do you prefer the, so we're going a little fast to read this. Methods, create element, append, pre-append methods. I use append pretty frequently. I think there's a lot of like, early on, I don't think there's like a huge reason to kind of invest in one or the other, but I think I just use kind of what's most current or popular, which is Append, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't really have like a strong reason for or against, so I guess I have to do a little research, but yeah, I use Append. Zagio, I said, hey, there might be something wrong with my code where we don't ever win. I said that. That's part of it. You got to be looking at the code. Honduran coder, hey, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you for being here. Are we gonna get into local storage coding? Yeah. We got to get to objects. Once we get to objects, we'll get the local storage. OnlyFans time. Dev Henry, this is Harris Keller's music through Stream. What is it called? Stream Bytes or Stream Bits? Stream Beats. It's called Stream Beats. So Stream Beats is completely free music that you can use on your stream. He's making bank off of this. It's one of the most genius things I've ever heard. What he realizes is that there are streamers that want to play music, right? And most streamers will play a song dozens of times or even hours throughout their entire stream. And so when like a normal musician puts their songs on Spotify, they'll get like one stream a day from somebody that really likes their music. But streamers are going to play their songs over and over again. So this dude is making 150 grand a month off of free music on Spotify, because Spotify Pro players that are using it during their stream are paying like Spotify's paying out like 0.03 cents per stream. And so since all these streamers are using it, Stream Beats, exactly, since all these streamers are using it, he's just getting paid. So I love it. It's the idea that like he made a service that was completely free. Not a dime has to be paid to use these songs. Invested like 40 grand into getting off the ground. That I'm hip. I like it. So I want to support that, and that's what we're using now. Favorite track from Stream Beats is codename Indigo. All right, I'll look it up. I got a few queued up. Like I'm not using it. Like I have a few that I have queued up, and so we're gonna keep trying some out. Got some bops for coding time. Got some good stuff for the intermission. Yeah, and Dianbo, it makes sense because he's literally making 150 grand a month. He just put out that video off of Stream Beats, which is dope. I love it. When a business model is free to the user, but you can still make sweet cash, that's what I'm about. I love it. Double or nothing, I'm not leaving without my money. 20 seconds, folks. 20 seconds, folks. Curious how to get this so it automates it. Like I like this challenge. Oh, okay. Like how do you automate the rock paper scissors? We can get there. All right, folks, come on back. Favorite album of all time, Acid Rap. Not even a question. Alrighty, folks, come on back, folks. Alrighty. Hope you had a good break. Should we run this back one time? Who won and has mad channel points now? Who won? How many points did you win if you won? I'm curious. How many did you get? Did somebody like risk it for the biscuit here? 30, 2 points, 100. All right, 40. 21K, what? I gotta be careful about this. I gotta be careful about these. Some people are gonna get to that OnlyFans real quick. All right, we're gonna do one more tonight. We're gonna run back this code. We're gonna run it back. So let me set up a prediction here. We're gonna run it back. right, that prediction was completed. We lost. All right, we lost. All right, we're going to start a new prediction. Win or lose. 1 minute subscribing period. All right, win or lose. All lowercase. It's going to be all lowercase. Win or lose, all lowercase. Win or lose, all lowercase. Got a minute to get in here. Get a minute to get in here. Win or lose. We're going to run this back one more time. Then we're going to do the looping part. Now remember, it's lowercase, win or lose here. Wow, look at this is Gamber's fallacy right here. Look at this. Everybody's gonna go. Everyone's gonna lose now. They're like, there might be. Oh no, never mind. I spoke too soon. I thought people were gonna like follow in. Now look, I'm showing you the code, making sure that hey, there might be some errors here. We don't know. We haven't tested it all that much. Showing you the code. Look at the code. We're gonna win or lose. Win or lose. I have a good feeling about this one. You got like 40 seconds to get your wins in here. Look at this code. Study it. Make sure you know what's going on here. We got a randomizer here. Is there anything that could be off with this randomizer? I don't know. Less than 0.33, less than 0.66. Are we pulling rock, paper, and scissors evenly? Look at this code. Are these all the win conditions? Are we leaving out any win conditions here? Is the tying good? Are we doing all right? Did you check the code? That right? Like, did you make sure that you got it right? 5K on the line. I got capped at 450. What? You still got like 30 seconds or so to get this in. You still got some time. Think you still got some time here. Win or lose. Remember, all lowercase. Win or lose. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Where is that originally from? I always say that. I know it's from some movie. I just don't remember what movie it's from, but I always say that. It closed? All right. Alrighty, folks. I see like a little timer on my end. I don't know why it's still showing me a little bit of the timer. Win or lose. Alrighty. Let's now remember, I'm going to show the screen. The last result's going to be there. It's not until we refresh will we see the new results. I'm going to go back to the console. We're still going to see the lose there in the console, right? We're still going to see lose there in the console. I have to refresh, right? So let's go to page. I'm going to refresh. 3, 2, 1. You tied. All right, cool. All right, we're good. We're going to run it back. That's not a win. That's not a loss. We all eating right now. That's not a win. It's not a loss. I just won. That's me, right? I just won. All right, it's a win or a loss. We got to run this back. All right, you ready? We got to go until we get a win or a loss here. All right. Hopefully you checked the code. Hopefully it was good. You used your eyes. You used your JavaScript abilities. All right. I can't take this. All right. We're going to do it. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Another tie. Hold on, let me put some music on. All right, we got this. All right. Now we got to put on the OG music. The OG music for this. There we go. All right. We're gonna run it back. You ready? 3, 2, 1. You lost. No. 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 I'm so sorry. We wanted to be positive and we just lost. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and make it official. Let's make it official. Gonna lock it in here. You lost. All right. Completing prediction. Oh boy. How many channel points? If you won twice in a row. Anybody win twice in a row? If you won twice in a row, how many channel points? 26K? 73K. Wow. This is dangerous. Who's got that OnlyFans money now? This is dangerous. I gotta be careful with these. People are gonna be at OnlyFans in like a week. Oh no. You bet so much to be. Did you win though? Oh no, I see the emote at the end. No. 15. No. All right. Let's get back into this. Let's get back into the code. This was fun. We're gonna do more of these. $255K? Oh, to everyone. Okay. 255,000 channel points were just won. 255,000 channel points were just won. Wow. That's wild. All right. Let's chill the music here. That was my rent money. Devolical, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. All right, let's finish this up. Let's do the loop. We're going to finish the loop. We got to cover the arrays, and then we're going to get into our objects. All right. Create a function that takes an array of choices. Play the game X times. What? Indifferent. What? Thank you so much. That's wild. That's so many gifted subs today. What? Thank you so much, Indifferent. I appreciate you for being here, for being on the Discord, helping folks out. This community really, really appreciates you and everything you do for us. So, hey, thank you so much for those gifted subs. Wow. Can we get a wall of Leons, please? A wall of micro Leons for Indifferent, please. A third of you have the micro Leon emote because of Indifferent. So, big old wall, please. Thank you so much. That's wild. That's so many subs tonight. Jeez. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do. Indifferent Ghost is back to reclaim the title. Thank you so much. Hey, let's keep going. Let's get through this loop. The champ is here. Alrighty, let's get into these loops here, folks. All right, so we're gonna use this check win function, and we're gonna use this rock paper scissors function to do this last thing. All right, to do this last thing, which is a loop. So let's go ahead and read this out together. Create a function. Create a function that takes an array of choices. Play the game X times, where X is the number of choices in the array. Print the results of each game to the console. So basically, we just want to run this multiple times, right? And what we want to do is we want to play the game each time that we have passed in. So we're going to take an array of choices. So let's go ahead and create a function. We're just going to call this play game, and it's going to take in an array. All right, it's going to take in an array. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a loop, right? Have a loop, right? That's going to take each of those choices that's inside of the array and use that as kind of like your choice here. So let's go ahead and create that loop. So we're going to say array dot, and we could do for each here just to have some fun. All right. And so we'll call this choice. And so we're going to run this for each element that's in the array. And we're just going to call check win. And we're going to pass in choice. So let's see if this works. Let's see if we get some stuff printing to the console here. I'm going to call play game, and I'm going to pass in I'm going to pass in the Leon Light emoji. Yeah. Also, don't remember, you can also unlock the emotes with channel points. So you don't have to have a sub or have a gifted sub. You can still unlock them with channel points if you want to. A drawing stream, I'm down. Paint with Leon. That'd be fun. I'm down to do it. I want to get some fun streams in. Let's put in rock. Ooh, let's put in rock. Let's put in paper. And let's put in paper again. Cool. Just to see what we get. All right, let's save this. I'm going to remove the call here just so that it doesn't run any more than we ask it to run. And let's see if this works. No bets. It's going to run it. All right, you won, you tied, you lost. Hey, at least we know it worked, folks. Like, look, we got a won, a tie, and a loss. So this was an even game. Even if you lost all your channel points, this was an even game. This it's still rigged. All right, so let's talk through what's happening here, because this is really kind of one of the first times, chat, that we've seen like functions with like a singular purpose, and we're calling these different functions together, right? So we're kind of like writing out these functions that do something specific, and then combining them and using them for the things that they're able to do. Right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here. So we have a function call, and we're passing in an array. That array has rock, paper, paper. All right? This array is going to be passed in to our play game function. So wherever we see array inside of this function, it's actually this array that was just passed in. Now, remember, for each is a special method for arrays that will run once for each element in the array. So right now, we know that this is going to run 3 times because there's rock, paper, and paper. Each time it runs, it's going to grab that value and throw it into choice. So the first time this runs, choice is rock. The next time it runs, choice is paper. And the last time it runs, it is paper again, right? How does it know it's referring to that specific array? Because this is a function call. And so we're just passing this array in as an argument. We could have passed in anything. It's just an argument that we're passing in, right? And so it could have been anything, right? And so we pass in this whole array as an argument. And then we're just looping through that array, grabbing each value out. We're grabbing the rock out, we're grabbing the paper out, and we're grabbing the paper out. And then once we've been able to grab each choice, we're calling check win with that choice. So the very first time this runs, it's going to be check win rock. So then we got to go up and look at our check win function. All right, we're going to pass in rock. All right, we're going to pass in rock. Let's figure out what the bot threw. And in the first case, we won, so we knew that the bot picked scissors. So my choice was rock. The bot choice was scissors. We console log, you won. So it's a chain, right? There's 3 things happening here. We have this function down here playing the game multiple times. It's checking to see if it won multiple times. And it's picking the bot choice multiple times. So in total, rock, paper, scissors will run 3 times. Check win will run 3 times. And our for each loop will run 3 times because there's 3 elements in the array. Why not map? Because we don't need a new array. We just want it to run it. All right. So if this is tricky, if this was kind of getting you stuck up, that's all right. Come to office hours. We're going to review this again, and we'll bet some channel points as well. All right. So if this is tricky, don't worry. We're going to come back to an office hours. We're going to do this office hours will be very kind of just a few questions and more like playing with this code, the code from last class, and our API stuff from the objects. Cool. So if it's so if it is tricky. Don't worry, we're gonna come back to it. Like I said, this is the first time we've seen like really like functions calling other functions. We've hinted at that before, and so if you're having trouble working through that, it's all right. We'll come back on Saturday to do it. Come to office hours needs to be on the bingo board. I agree. More bets. Alrighty, let's keep moving, folks. Keep moving. Hope you had some fun with that one. Arrays. Let's do a quick review of arrays, and we got some array work to get through, and then we're going to take another break. I like to think of arrays as toasters, right? It's one object that holds multiple things at one time. If you are new, we had a full class on this. We're going to do a quick review and get to some practice problems. So think of toasters as one object that has multiple elements inside of that object. Arrays are structured to store ordered collections. Array elements are numbered starting with 0. That's the tricky thing. So when we're counting the bagel, the toaster strudel inside of our toaster, we don't really start counting at 1. We start counting at 0. That's the tricky thing with arrays. Arrays come with a bunch of methods that we've learned that help us kind of order the elements or move or remove elements from the array. And they can be created 2 ways, with the constructor or literal notation. We've seen literal notation before. We're going to get to the constructor as we continue on. So let's keep pushing. Like I said, if you're new, we have a whole class on this. We're going to do some review. We're going to do some practice problems. It's the constructor way to declare problems. We're going to see more of this tonight. We can declare an array with literal notation, which is just using these lovely square brackets. We've seen that before in the past. When we declare an array, the things that are in the array are called elements. So string zebra, boolean true, and number 21 are all elements in the array. And the tricky thing about arrays is that we start counting arrays by their index, meaning that New York here, which is the first element, is actually the 0th index. So if we wanted to get New York out of this array, we would call the array with the 0th index to give us NYC. Alrighty. Not only can we get values out of the array using index, we can actually put stuff into the array using the index. So here you can see me using the array name with the square bracket 0. That's going to grab zebra out of the array. We can also put stuff into the array. So here's me saying the array square brackets 1, and I'm setting equal to something, and that bomb's going to get plugged into the array, right? Something really careful to be careful of when you're going through your arrays. If you're reassigning arrays, you can actually overwrite a whole array by assigning an array to another array. Here we have an array with cars in it, an array of numbers. When we set them equal, we wipe the original, and now we just are left with the numbers. Cool. Arrays have this property called length that'll tell you how many things are inside of the array, right? So if you ever want to know how many elements in the array, you can always do length. We can iterate through an array. So here's an example of iterating through an array using a for loop. Basically, we're going to use this I as our increment, and we can use that as our index. So as I keeps going up, we're going to grab the 0th, the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd element out of this array. We also saw another way to iterate through arrays, and that's with the for each, like we just did in the example a second ago. This for each is going to grab each element and it's indexed every single time this runs. And so it's the same exact thing that we saw on the last screen. We're going to pop off green, blue, yellow, and black, and we're able to console log them as we move through. All right. I know we're speeding through this one. This is just be a quick reminder, quick review. We spent a lot of time on this stuff the past couple classes, so just trying to make sure that's in our heads, right? Exactly. X is the element here, and I is the index. Exactly, Bugaboo. All right. We saw some methods before. We're not going to do the full spiel here. We're just going to say, remember, shift pulls the first element off the array. Pop pulls the last element off the array. Unshift puts an element onto the front of the array. Push puts an element onto the end of the array. We can use map to run once for each element in the array, but create a new array, right? And so these are all methods that we've seen that are helpful. All right. So, speed review. Alrighty. We got some code to look at and some starter code to work through. So let's go ahead and open that up. The space review. So I'm going to close these two. Of course, I'll share my solutions on Discord after classes. Always. Let's go ahead and open up Space Review here. You have a couple things to do here with arrays. There are some methods that you might want to use here that might make this a little bit easier for you. And some one that you might not have seen before or even know how to solve it, but you're going to Google how to solve it, aka this last two. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put, what are we at? 5:52. Let's go ahead and put a solid 10 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and start working on that. You got 10 minutes to work on these, right? If you're new and you need the materials that we're going through, you can do ! Discord in our chat. Go to our Discord, agree to the rules, and then you'll see a follow along materials channel that has all the code that we're using tonight, all the code that these folks are working on right now. Let's put some tunes on. Space Review. Yep, it is Space Review. Of course, after maybe like the third or fourth best Power Rangers run. Power Rangers in Space. Favorite array method. I really like reduce. I think reduce is just beautiful. I really like it. Hint, hint. I'm gonna go with reduce. If you're new here, you want to know what we're doing a 30-week software engineering boot camp. You can come learn how to code for free. We have class every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's what you're seeing now. We're in the middle of working on some code arrays. If you're interested, you can do ! 100 devs. That'll give you all the information you need, how you can get caught up so you can join us again live. If you want the code that we're using right now, it's on Discord, ! Discord. You agree to the rules and it'll be here. Glad you're stopping by. If you're interested in learning the code, this is the place to be. Community of folks that want to help you learn how to code. You're in the right spot. Got a lot of new folks here. Bergaz, Flyboy, Chaos Mode, Tiff, Boomin95, Tank Shakur, Pizza Alien. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. It's Sabotage. New jams, exactly. Produces a silver bullet, exactly. Yeah, I gotta start applying to internships. Just working on building my startup. Cool. What's your startup to, Pizza Alien? That's my past life. I started a company oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago now. But started a company right out of university. Raised a couple million for it. Went through Techstars and all that good stuff. Learned so much after realizing that most functions just check for array legs. Apparently I remember this basic reduce syntax for something. Using my name as a test condition. It's a machine learning algorithm designed to improve healthy use of social media. That's pretty dope. What's your business model going to be, Pizza? What's going on, Alyssa? What's the we will. These ones are getting difficult, folks. They're getting a little spicier. Don't worry if it's a little spicy. We're gonna go over it together. Ooh, I like spicy. Me too, holograms. Sergio. Subtoast done. Nice. Cake House with the Dunzo. I like the ambient noise. Your Twitch broke. Oh no, give it a refresh. Give it a refresh. This is the chips my mom never let me eat spicy. The new music is too interesting for me to know. I don't want that. That's the opposite I want. You finished though. Maybe the vibes were helping. I'd actually like to target misinformation on Twitter. That'd be cool. That's dope. Are you a developer, Pizza? Are you building this yourself, or do you have like a team? That's dope. Thanks for stopping by, Pizza. We're getting ready to do a portfolio and resume review next Friday, doing it live. So if you need any help with that, setting up that stuff, I know you said you're looking for internships and stuff like that. Y'all done. All right, I'll take that. My you done? All right. Imran coming in with the done. Paper Life, not this Friday, next Friday. Exactly. I'm telling you, next week's best week ever. Nage with the done. K Murray with the done. Yash with the dunzo. Not doing well, Izzy. That's all right. Do what you can. We'll go over the rest. Unheard pineapple with the done. Oh no, pie. Peter froze up. Ooh, converting all your functions to arrow sub. That's dope. Keep spitting out stuff that ain't working. That's all right. Keep going at it. You still got 3 minutes. Got a style on Code Wars. I feel the same way. One of my favorite things to do is to like go back to problems that I think that are a little bit easier for me, like level 8s or 7 queues, and just try and get them done in one line. It's not the best or the cleanest code, but I find it a lot of fun. Done with doubts. Hey, better than done with that. Not done with doubts. So keto hits din done. All right. 3 is done. All right, see you. Bugaboo's Dunzo. Okay. Home Alone 2. How many points do you have? Code Wars are very frustrating, but in a good way. I can feel my brain pushing my hair out the more problems I solve on there. Yeah, it's about finding the patterns. Once you start recognizing the patterns, especially with like the AQs, once you start recognizing those patterns, it becomes a lot easier. And so the first couple you do, the first like week or so, pumping them out on Code Wars, like the level AQs kind of sucks. But once you start to get a feel for the language, you start to recognize the patterns, it gets nicer. 62K, damn. How much were you, did it put a cap on how much you all were able to bet? Like, could you have like YOLO'd it all? Could you just like done like 60K if you wanted? You could have lost everything. No, I YOLO'd it all twice. I bet 10K. You can YOLO. Oh my, I gotta be careful with this then. I gotta be careful with this. If I get the 500K, I'd be willing to spin that wheel. Get my OnlyFans ready. Oh, you can see. You can only win points that the yes people put in. Oh, I didn't know that. So it's still like the same number of channel points in the community. That's interesting. Ooh, we got some duns coming in. Cross with the dun. My back hurts. This is done. Hey. Come on back, folks. Let's go over this together. Come on back. Let's take a peek. We absolutely can do this. Hell yeah. The goal is to pull the points for OnlyFans. Hey now. All right, let's look at this. We're going to go over these and we're going to take a break. So probably like hang in with me for another 5-10 minutes here and we'll take our break and we'll come back, all objects. All right, create an array of numbers. Sum all the numbers, alert the sum. All right, what did you use for this one? Create an array of numbers, sum all the numbers, alert the sum. What did you use? What did you use to do this? Oh yeah, reduce is the key here. I like reduce on this a lot. Cool. So let's go ahead and create an array called numbers. Let nums equal, and we'll just put in some random numbers here. Cool. There are our array of numbers, and then what we can do is we can say let sum equal. Right, so now we're going to grab our sum. We're going to do nums dot reduce, and reduce takes in two things: the accumulator and the current value. And so we'll pass those two parameters in, and then we're going to say accumulator plus current value, and then we're going to start off at 0. All right, and then let's go ahead and console log our sum. Let's make sure this works, and then we'll explain it. Always check first. Let's save it. Let's go back to opening this in the browser. We're going to open up our console and we're going to take a peek. All right, so we got a sum going on here. It looks good. Looks like it's working. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So reduce was a method that came up in the homework. So if this is your first time looking at reduce, maybe you're a little behind on the homework, that's okay. Get caught up this weekend. But this is something we saw. Reduce has two things. It has what we call an accumulator and a current value. Okay. So think of the accumulator as like a bucket. And you're throwing everything into that bucket. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have that bucket that's set up and then the current value. And what reduce is going to do is that it's going to run once for each element in this array. So we have 5 elements in the array, right? We have 5 elements in the array. And what we're going to do is we are going to add 2 to our bucket. Then we're going to add 333 to our bucket. Then we're going to add 9 to our bucket. Then we're going to add 811 to our bucket. And then we're going to add 9 to our bucket, right? So all reduce did is it ran once for each element that was in the array. And the accumulator is just like the accumulation of the values. And in this case, we are adding to that accumulation. We could have subtracted, we could have multiplied, we could have divided, we could have done a whole bunch of stuff there, right? And so the idea here is that what we're going to do is we have our array of numbers, and then we have our sum, which is just moving through that array and adding each one, the 2, then the 333, then the 9, then the 811, then the 9, to this accumulation. And then when we're done, that whole accumulation sits in the sum. The 0 helps us in a lot of interesting situations. it's basically starting off the accumulation at 0, which is really helpful if you're dealing with different types and a bunch of other like really weird scenarios, right? This would work without the 0 in this situation, but I run into enough edge cases where if I didn't check my types and like the first, like let's say we were doing something where instead of them being numbers, they were strings of the number, right? So it was string 333, string 9, string 811, string 9, right? So they're still numbers. It's still going to add them. And maybe we're doing like some sort of like parsing in here. But that first value is a string. And so we wouldn't wind up summing them. We would wind up like concatenating them. And so that 0 would save us by saying, all right, the first value is a number, so it's not a string. It helps with like types and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, long ball, it helps like stop that coercion that could happen. Yeah. So the idea here is that like it just saves your butt a few times. So I just always kind of include it, but you could get away without the 0 here. Is using reduce better than using sum plus equals num here? No, it's two different ways of doing it. Eventually we'll get into runtime complexity and like these more advanced topics about like how we evaluate the effectiveness of the code that we're writing, but we're not at that stage yet. And like, that's kind of like, is there some gains to be had going one way or the other? Sure. But right now it's not something that's going to impact us, but yeah. Is there a way to do this with a for loop? Absolutely. We could have done this with a for loop. We could have done this with any type of looping, really. Just reduce is built into arrays. I wanted to show it to you, and we can use it that way. All right. Let's go ahead. I'm going to save these 3 for office hours because I want to take a break. We're at the top of the hour, and I really want to get to objects. All right. Bog, that's hilarious. So let's go ahead. Let's put a 5-minute break on the timer. When we come back, we're going to jump into objects because I want to get to objects. And so we'll cover the rest at office hours. So let's go ahead. 5 minutes on the clock here. Going to take your break. See you in 5. Put some music on here for you. Need a stretch? Me too. I'm going to stretch. You didn't win enough points to the OnlyFans yet. So I'm going to, OnlyFans content. Be right back. Oh, yeah. I think Leon might regret doing predictions. Yeah, it's going to get dangerously close to some OnlyFans. That's a couple YOLOs. Like if somebody strings like 5 to 6 YOLOs in a row. Bog 215. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. YOLO bombs. Let's go. Right, so. Hey, that's what the OnlyFans content is for, Rezo, Welcome all the new folks. Good to see you. Sightseer, 5MP4, Slayer, SoFlyBird, Bilgrin, GGC, DePrep. Welcome, everybody. Why do they call it reduce? I think I get confused a lot of time because the method names me think it actually does something else. Think of like you put like you put a soup stock on the stove, and over time it reduces into something condensed, right? Like you put it on heat and like it reduces. That's kind of what's happening here with your code. You started with all of these numbers and you reduced it to 1. right? The end result is the accumulation. Either we add it to the accumulation, we subtract it from it, we multiply it into it, we divide it into it, or we start it with all these values and we reduce them into one. And that's what's stored in sum, right now at least. Lala, how you doing? I just saw your first message. Emma, my grandmother made me so that I could be the subject of a programming question. If you got to that palindrome, you know what we're talking about. If not, we'll get there on Saturday. This stuff is just not penetrating my brain. This is hard stuff. This is some stuff that it's getting a little bit tougher. For some of these concepts, it's going to take more than just 2 classes to sink in. It's going to take some time over the weekend. It's going to take some diffusive time where you're not even thinking about it. You're just letting your brain process. This is some hard stuff. This array and object stuff is not easy. And so don't worry. Give yourself some time. We'll get there. Definitely come to office hours or catch it on YouTube if you can't make it. We're going to go over all of this. Phenomenon, pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much what we'll use it for. Was it purposeful to make it a palindrome? Absolutely. Of course. Discord mate, let's keep smashing our heads. Heck yeah. If you need help, Discord voice, we don't bite. Alright. I'm reading A Mind for Numbers now. Oh, I love the book. Barbara Oakley's book. Yep. I feel like I get it while I'm in class, and then next class I'm just like, huh? It's a cycle of getting it and then getting hella lost all over again. Yeah. It's just more practice. The more practice we get in, the more review we get in, the more it'll start to stick. Alrighty, folks, come on back. Is there any site too big to take on right now for a client? As long as they have a budget, no, because you can always hire developers to work with you. Yeah. It's only a problem if you take on a really big site and you don't have the skills and none of the budget to have folks help you. Just finished your gallon of water? Hell yeah. Ending my day off right by having my cat trip me down the stairs. Ghostfire, we're gonna try it out. If it works, we'll hopefully keep it going. Alrighty. XCG, you took a quick shower? What? Alright, folks, come on back. Let's get through this. Let's keep pushing. Alright. We're gonna go back to the slides. If you need the slides, exclamation point slides in the chat. Let's keep pushing. Let's get into objects. So objects. What are objects? Objects are simply a collection of variables and functions. When you think about an object, just think about the variables that you know so well. Think about the functions that you know so well. And just think of one entity that has a bunch of variables on it and a bunch of functions on it, right? That's all our objects are. Our objects are just collections of these variables and they're collections of these functions. If you've ever used a variable and you've ever used a function, you know what an object is. It's just a collection of those variables and functions, okay? Now, when we're dealing with an object, we don't call them a variable. We call them a property. And when we're dealing with a function with an object, we don't call them a function. We call them a method, right? That's it. If you know how to use variables, you know how to use functions, you know how to use objects. We just have to learn a little bit of syntax about how we use them, how we add these properties and methods to them, how we use them. But if you've ever felt comfortable with variables and you ever felt comfortable with functions, objects shouldn't be too wild. Cool. All right. So when we're thinking about objects, let's think of like an actual physical object. Last class we talked about a stopwatch, right? When we think about this stopwatch, right, we think that we can think through the properties that it has and the behaviors that it has, right? These methods that we'll eventually get to. So some of the properties of this stopwatch or the attributes that make it up could be like a color. So like a color of black, a brand of AccuSplit, a shape of round, a string of true, because it does have a string at the bottom, right? And it probably has some behaviors or methods, right? Like it has the ability to start and stop. It also has the ability to split and reset, right? So when we think about this stopwatch, there are some properties to it, which are just very similar to like variables. And it has some methods to it, which are just like our functions. So what I want everyone to do is to think through these properties and methods, right, for a specific type of object. And that object we're going to get to is a mouse, okay? But before we get to this let's code and we start talking about the mouse, let's show how we can create these objects that are just those collections of variables and functions, right? How do we tie them up into one bundle to get an object? Well, the easiest way and the first way that we're going to learn how to create an object is by using the literal notation that we saw last class. When you use curly braces, you are literally creating an object. Just like when we use square brackets, we are literally creating an array. It is the same thing when we get to an object. All right. Now, how can we add these variables or these properties to our objects? Well, the first way we're going to learn is about our dot notation. So here I have the stopwatch object that was created with the curly braces, and I'm going to add a current time property to it. So here's current time, and I'm setting it equal to 12. If I was then to look at my stopwatch object, I would now see inside of it, or as part of it, it would have a property of current time, and that value would be 12. We can also add methods or functions to our objects, right? It's the same way using this dot notation. So we give it a name called tellTime, and we set it equal to a function. That's the only difference between a property and a method. A property is going to be something that's not a function. A method is going to be a function. Remember, an object is a collection of properties, right, and methods. And so our properties can be anything other than functions. If it's a function, we're going to call that a method. Cool. All right. Down here, we're doing something interesting. We're using that stopwatch object that we just created, and we are running the tellTime method on it, right? So we can see up here that it has the tellTime method is a function. So we are running that function. We know that we're running it because we see the parentheses, right? That's our clue. All right, that's a function. We're running some sort of function, right? And then the interesting thing here is chat. What is stopwatch current time? What is that? Chat, what is stopwatch.current time? Ooh, Takoa got it first. So in this instance, stopwatch.current time is an argument, right? If this whole thing is a function call, right? If this whole thing is a function call, stopwatch.current time is an argument. Now here's the thing. This argument has to resolve, right? So I have to get a value out of current time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my stopwatch object. I'm going to see that it has a current time property, and I'm going to see that that is 12. So this argument is the same thing as having put the number 12 right here. So I'm going to pass the number 12 into the tellTime method. So 12 goes into this method, and anywhere I see time, it's actually now the number 12. So when I call this stopwatch.tellTime method, what I am really doing is passing a value in, right? Passing a value in, and then it gets spit out in the console log. Now, we've seen this. You have all done this. You have all done this a bazillion times. You've all done this, right? You've done an alert before. You pass some value into an alert, you are passing a value into a method, right? You have done, you've done toString, right? You've done toString. You've done all these things that were just methods before, okay? So don't let it trip you up. If you need to, just pretend that everything that's over here doesn't exist, right? When you're using the dot notation, just pretend everything that's over there doesn't exist. And this is just a normal function call, right? Don't let that trip you up. All right. What I would like for you to do is we're going to go ahead and open up this Lost Galaxy code along. Let me save this. We're going to open up that Lost Galaxy. Underrated, by the way. And what I want you to do is I want you to create a mouse object that has 4 properties and 3 methods. A mouse object that has 4 properties and 3 methods. So go ahead. We're just going to do quick 2 minutes here. 2 minutes. Oh, we'll do 3 minutes. We'll do 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Use that dot notation that you saw in the last slide. So go ahead and take a peek at the slides if you need to. That's the joke, Alyssa. My dog is leaning her chin on my hand. I can barely type. Oh, that's so cute. Animal machinery, your choice. Your choice. Still measure my showers by song played to this day. Heck. Yeah, there you go. Make sure you're taking a peek at the slides using that that dot notation, right? You're creating the object literally. Creating the object literally. Using that dot notation to create your properties. That dot notation to create your methods. Work on that. Halfway through your OOP hangman style game. Heck yeah. Keep going. Keep kicking ass. What? That's wild, MB. Sorry you had to go through that. Ooh, Crossing, you did your first hackathon? That's awesome. There is an Out in Tech conference tomorrow. I'm going to share that when I share out the solutions for tonight. It seems like it's going to be a good conference. I'm going to put that in one of the links. That way, if anybody wants to attend, they can. I'm enjoying this so far. I need to catch up to this point. Hey, do exclamation point 100 devs. It'll give you a little section about how to catch up. Cross and Blah, did you share your hackathon on Discord? I want to take a peek. The panic is starting to set in. No, we're gonna get to it. Don't worry, we're gonna get to it. I'll look in touring. I can see it. Yeah. Oh, 10 seconds, folks. Come on back. Stout fella. I didn't think I'd find myself Googling the properties of a mouse today. Alrighty, folks. Come on back. Come on back. property. Let's take a peek at this. All right, so we're going to create a mouse object. So I'm going to create an object first. We're going to use that literal notation to create the object. Let mouse equal, right? Let mouse equal, and we'll use our curly braces. Now, we could have put the properties in here, but let's use the dot notation that we saw, right? So we can do mouse dot, I'm going to pull up my mouse here. This is my mouse, all right? It's my mouse. This is my mouse. Or I could go this mouse. Or I could do this mouse. Or I could do this mouse. Or I could do this mouse. I don't know. Just flexing. It's a weird flex. I don't know. I like my mice. So we're gonna use the odd mouse. Here's my MX Ergo. It's the one I use every day. All right, there we go. That's the. This is my MX Ergo. All right, mouse flex. All right, let's go ahead and do mouse dot brand. I'm gonna say equals Logitech. Cool. I'm gonna say mouse dot Ergo equals. We're just gonna say Boolean of true. We're going to say mouse dot model. We'll say model of mice and Leon. Say model equals MX Ergo. Cool. And we're going to say mouse dot trackball equals true. So it's 4 properties. It has a brand property, an ergo property, a model, and a trackball property. All right. Let's go ahead and give it some methods. So mouse dot left click equals a function. And we are going to go ahead and we're just going to say log. We're just going to console log. Click left. There we go. I'm going to have a mouse for a right click. All right. I'm going to say it's another function. All right. And then that logs me the same thing, but it's just going to be, it's going to say click right. And then we're going to do mouse dot scroll reel. Oop, I forgot my equal sign up here. I'm going to do mouse dot scroll wheel. And I'm going to set that equal to another function. And this function is going to be, all right. So this is for, I know we have some Counter-Strike fans in here, but what do you, if you play like hardcore Counter-Strike, what are you buying your scroll wheel to? Anybody know this in chat? I'm curious. Yeah. 8 bearings photo got it. Hey, Nerkler got it. There you go. Got a bunch of folks got this. What? All right, we got some players. We got to get a team going. Jump. All right, we got to get a team going here. That's fire. I didn't know there's that many players here. Cause that's a real question. You only know that if you play. All right. So we created an object here. That object has four properties and 3 methods. Let's go ahead and see this in the browser. I'm going to see this in the browser. Open it in the browser. Lost Galaxy. All right. As is tradition. And there we go. Cool. All right. Got to get the poses in. That's actually really good hand exercises. They put their hands in some weird places. Let's go ahead and take an inspector here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this inspector just to look at that object that we have. So let's just go ahead and ask for the mouse object. There we go. So when I type in mouse, look what I get back. When I type in mouse, look what I get back. Because mouse is a variable that is holding this object. And if we look, it has a brand property. It has an ergo property, it has a model property, it has a trackball property, and it even has it has all the methods there. If we expand it, we'll see everything. Gotta get my head out the way though. But if we expand it, we'll see everything. Like it's all there, right? The right click is there, the scroll wheel is there, the trackball is there, everything's there, right? Now the cool thing is, we can go ahead and clear this, is I can start using this object. This object, right? This object is a mix of variables and functions, and I can use both. If I ask for mouse.brand, I get Logitech back. If I ask for mouse.left click, right, and I call it, chat, how can I call this method? What do I need to call it? What do I need to call this, chat? Yeah, I need my parentheses. When I call it, I get that console log. I see that click left happen, that function ran, right? So an object is just that collection of variables, and it's that collection of functions. And we can use those properties, and we can use those methods to do stuff. Cool. Let's keep pushing. All right, we coded the mouse object. And so far, we've just made one object. We made one object, clams in chat. We made one object. But what if we want to make a lot of objects, right? What if we want to make a lot of objects, right? Well, we're going to need a factory. We're going to need a factory that can spit out a lot of objects. Here's a car factory. This factory is going to spit out a lot of cars. This is what this factory does. It spits out cars. Well, we have things in JavaScript that enable us to create these objects. It's like a factory. It's gonna put all the pieces on the car that we need and spit it out. Okay. So the idea here is that we're going to create a factory, and these factories are going to enable us to create a bunch of objects, and it's going to help us create them in a way that we're not sitting here doing this. Like, we're not just sitting here manually adding these each time. We're not sitting here manually adding these methods each time, right? It's going to enable us to have one factory, and we can use that factory over and over again to create new objects. Now, there's two ways we're going to do that. The first way we're going to do it is with constructors, and then we're going to use the new ES6 syntax of classes. Something really important to know is that the classes really don't do anything. They're called syntactical sugar, but we're going to get into them anyway. They just look good, though. They look real good. All right. Here's a constructor. Don't let this blow your mind a little bit. What it's doing, right? What it is doing is that it is enabling us to create a car object, right? It's enabling us to create a car object. And so down here, you can see me creating cars, a Honda Civic, a Tesla Roadster. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass our requirements. We're going to say we want it to be a Honda, we want it to be a Civic, we want it to be silver, and we want it to have 4 doors. We're going to pass our requirements in, and we're going to get an object out. Okay? So this is our factory. This is our factory in JavaScript. We're going to be able to pass our requirements in, and we're going to get our values out. Okay? Now, this constructor function is a function. It's a normal function. It has the function keyword. It has a name. It has parameters. It has curly braces that open and close. It is a normal function. There's one thing that's a little odd up here, though. Anybody in chat notice what's a little odd here? Anybody know what's a little odd here? Yeah, Izzy, you spotted it. Yeah, Zakuto. Yep, Boogaboo got it. There's a capital letter. This make car is capitalized. Now, it's important to know that when you're using constructors, the common thing to do is to make the name of your function capitalized. It doesn't do anything. There's no special powers. It's just so that we know that this is a constructor. a factory of objects. This make car is going to help us spit out car objects over and over again. Okay? Now, if we look, there's some interesting things that are happening inside of this function. Yeah, it's a blueprint. It's a good way to think about it. This is a blueprint to make cars, right? Now, this is interesting. There's some stuff that's going on here. Let's take a look. Over here, we are setting up all the properties and methods for our objects. It's setting up all the properties and methods for our objects, just like we did here. Just like here, we set up all of our properties and our methods. We're doing the exact same thing just inside this factory. And the reason why this is important is because it's going to enable us to spit out objects over and over again. Okay? It's going to enable us to spit them out over and over again. And so what we're able to do here is we are able to say, all right, every single car that comes out of this factory is going to have a make, a model, a color, a number of doors, a honk, and a lock. Every single car that comes out is going to have that. Okay? Every single car. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to pass in values, right, for the type of car that we want. So what you'll notice here is down here, I'm using a special keyword called new, and I am calling the constructor function. So I'm using this keyword new and this constructor function. I'm calling it. This new keyword is the magic sauce that enables us to create the object, right? What this is saying is, hey, we're going to use this constructor and we're going to use this new keyword, right? When you see that combination of a constructor and the new keyword, you're probably making an object, okay? Right? So that's what we're doing here. This is what's going to make it special. This is how we know we're making an object. And what's going to happen is we're going to pass Honda into car make. We're going to pass Civic into car model. We're going to pass silver into car color. And we're going to pass 4 into the number of doors. So what winds up happening is the make property is set to Honda. The model is set to Civic. The color is set to silver. The number of doors is set to 4. And it gets a honk and a lock method automatically. All right. All we did is we're just using this factory that we set up, and we're passing the values into the factory to get the type of object we want or the type of car that we want. And then we do the same thing down here. We use the keyword and the constructor function call to create that object. We're going to take Tesla, pass it into car make, Roadster, pass it into car model, red, pass it into color, and doors, and pass it into number of doors. And what we wind up with is a make property of Tesla, a model property of Roadster, a color property of red, a doors property of 2, and a honk and a lock. So let's go ahead and copy these. I'm going to go ahead and copy it real quick. And I'm going to open up my console. I'm going to paste this in. That's my factory, right? That's my factory. So my factory is pasted in. And then let's grab this first car. We're going to grab this Honda Civic. Let's grab this. And I'm going to throw it in here. And now we've created our Honda Civic. So if I ask for Honda Civic, look what I get back. Look what I get back. You can see that I get an object. But it's not just any object. It's a make car object. And it has a make property, a model property, a color property, a doors property, a honk method, and a lock method. Because I use that constructor, right? All the objects that come out of that constructor are going to have those values. And I can use them. I can do I can say Honda Civic dot color, and I get silver back. I can do Honda Civic dot make and get Honda back. I can do Honda Civic dot honk. And remember, it's a method, so I have to call it. I get beep beep fucker. Comes up in the alert, right? Because it is now an object that has these properties and these methods on it, right? Wait, so is Honda Civic an object? Yes, it is. Honda Civic is an object, right? It is made from the make car factory, though. So you can kind of think about, even though the Honda Civic is the object, you can think about it having like this stamp of where it was made. It was made in the make car constructor, right? Constructors are the old way of making many new objects. Correct. They are the old way of making many new objects. Exactly. Calling a factory has made it click way more. I hope so. This is a tricky topic. Yeah. Can we use this keyword with a bracket notation, like the actual keyword this? Technically, yeah, you could. Hold on. Like this here, you mean? You could. All right. So now what I want to do is we know how to make this constructor. We got to get some practice typing out this syntax, though. We got to get some practice with this syntax. So we're gonna do some practice with this syntax. We're gonna get that practice with the syntax. So if the syntax is bothering you, we're gonna do some practice. But there's one important thing I want to talk about. All of these cars were made from the same factory, right? We can make a Honda Civic. We can make a Roadster. We can make anything we want from this constructor, right? So if I wanted to, I could go back here and I can make a new car, right? If we ask for Honda Civic, sorry, I didn't hit enter. If I ask for Honda Civic, oh, I think I hit refresh. Hold on, let me grab it. Let me grab my constructor real quick. I just want us to see this. I want to see this one more time. We're gonna get practice with the syntax. Don't worry. We're gonna put our constructor in. Gonna put my constructor in here. Right? And then what we can do is we can make any car that we want. So let's go ahead and say let what's the type of car that we want? What's the type of car that we want? Oh, let's see. What kind of car could we go for? What's a good car? Let's go with a GTR. Yeah, there we go. Nissan GTR. So say GTR, we're going to say new make car, and then we're going to pass in all the things that we're going to pass in. So the make is going to be Nissan. We are going to say the model is a GTR. We're going to say the color, of course, Nismo white. And then we're going to say 2 doors. All right, there we go. So now if we ask for GTR, you can see that we have a new car that was made. So we can go ahead and use this factory, right? We can use this factory to create any car that we want. Any make, any model, any color, any doors. And we can spit out cars all day long, right? Is that a Supra? All right, let's keep going. So once you have the factory, you can use it to create whatever you want. Now, the interesting thing is if you looked at what we were doing here, is you might have saw that they all kind of have like this stamp. Like, even though it's an object, you can see where it came from, like what factory it came from. It came from the make car factory. And this is going to be a really important functionality of JavaScript. So let's imagine, I love downloading cars. Let's imagine that Tesla made let's say they put out thousands of cars. Tesla was using our factory to make cars. right? Tesla was using our factory to make all these cars. And they realized a couple months after that people couldn't connect their phones to the car. They were trying to play music and stuff like that, but it wasn't working. They had just created thousands of cars that did not have Bluetooth, right? They had thousands of cars that did not have Bluetooth. This is not a real story. We're just making this up, right? Don't sue me, Tesla. They had thousands of cars, right, that didn't have Bluetooth. Now, the cool thing is, like, back in the day, if you shipped a car that didn't have a feature that you wanted to have a feature, what did you have to do? Like, back in the day, if you like you sold thousands of cars that didn't have a feature, what did you have to do? Like, you sold thousands of cars, they didn't have this feature. You wanted all the cars to have the feature. Yeah, you had to recall. All thousands of those cars would have to come back to the dealership. The dealer would install the new feature, and then you get your car back. So you do a huge recall. Thousands of cars coming in to get this feature added. But here's the cool thing about Teslas. Teslas can be updated, right? And so all Tesla has to do is roll out an update, and now you have Bluetooth. This is how I want you to think about the objects that just came out of our car factory. All these cars came out of the factory. None of them have Bluetooth. But there's something really cool that we have in JavaScript called the prototype. Since all the objects came from the same factory, like all of our cars came from the same factory, they all have the same prototype. And a prototype is just like a fallback source of properties and methods, right? So the car that we just created, right? The car that we just created did not have Bluetooth, right? So if we go here, if we made this car here on this line, we go ahead and we make the Tesla Roadster, we make a new car, and then we try to use the Bluetooth property, we're going to get undefined. This Tesla Roadster did not have Bluetooth. If we look at the previous slide, there's no property here called Bluetooth. So we made all these cars that did not have Bluetooth, right? But what we can do is on the constructor's prototype, add Bluetooth. And now when we do Tesla Roadster Bluetooth, what's going to happen? Okay. What's going to happen is the Roadster is going to check itself. It's going to say, hey, me as a car, do I have Bluetooth? And the answer is going to be no. The Roadster does not have Bluetooth. Itself does not have Bluetooth. But then what it can do is it can look up at its prototype and say, hey, prototype, do you have Bluetooth? All right. And since the prototype has Bluetooth, the Roadster has Bluetooth, right? The way I really like to think about this is, let's say I didn't have a car, but someone up in my family chain does. So I don't have a car. So I asked my mom, hey, mom, do you have a car? And she says, no. So then my mom asks grandma, hey, grandma, do you have a car? And since my grandma has a car, I have a car, right? Since my grandma has a car, I have a car. Now, if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, Leon, do you have a car? My answer is no. I myself do not have a car, but I can always use a car because grandma has a car, right? This is what a prototype is. This is one of the most difficult topics to understand in JavaScript. So even if you're hanging on with just a thread, right? Even if you're just hanging on with a thread, stay with me. So the idea here is prototypes are like a fallback, right? The objects are going to look at themselves. The objects are going to check themselves. They're going to say, hey, do I have that property or do I have that method? If the answer is no, it's going to look up the chain. If at any point of it looking up this chain, it finds that value, it can use it. Okay. Yeah, you can think of prototypes as like ancestors, right? So what we're looking at here, this code example here is we created a car. At the time we created this car, it did not have Bluetooth. And that would really suck because we created thousands of cars. And all 1,000 of these cars did not have Bluetooth. We would normally have to recall all of them to add it. But with JavaScript, it's really simple. We can just put on the prototype Bluetooth. And so what's going to happen is my Tesla is going to check itself. It's going to check itself. Better check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's going to check itself, and it's going to say, hey, do I have Bluetooth? And the answer is going to be no. So the next thing it's going to do is look at its prototype. It's going to say, hey, prototype, do you have Bluetooth? And since we just said that the prototype does have Bluetooth, well, guess what? Now that Roadster has Bluetooth. It didn't have it on itself, but it was able to look up the chain and find it. Okay? It was able to look up the chain and find it, right? And so this idea of objects looking at themselves to see if they have a property or a method, and if not finding it, looking up through all of its parents is a type of inheritance. Like, since my grandma has a car, I can inherit the use of that car, right? This chain, this inheritance, we call prototypal inheritance, right? This is one of the biggest concepts in JavaScript, one of the hardest things to understand. But all it means is that if the object does not have that property or that method, it goes looking up the chain for it. It's going to ask its parent, then its grandparent, then its great-great-grandparent, until it runs out of options, and then it stops. Okay? Now, we've seen this. We've seen this, right? We've seen this. We've seen this in plenty of places, right? The reason we've seen this in a lot of places is because whenever we've tried to use properties or methods, and the thing that we were trying to use that property or method on didn't work, it went up the chain to find it. Okay? If you have ever used a property or a method, you are dealing with an object. So let's look at some of the things that we've dealt with in the past. Let's go ahead and look at some stuff we've dealt with in the past. Here's something that we would have done in the past. Let array equal cool. Here's an array, right? Here's an array. Here's something we've done in the past. Here's something we've done in the past. Array.length. We've used this dot notation. We've used this dot notation. What length did, length was a property. It was a property of this object. It was a property of this object. It's a state. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 elements in this array. So array.length equals 4. Here's something we might have done before. Let's go to the console real quick. Let's try something funky. Let's try something real funky. Whoop. Let's get funky. Here, I just got funky real quick. Let me do this again. Watch what I'm doing here. Let num equal 2, right? Num dot toString. What just happened here? What did we just get? What did we just get? What did we just get? We just got it. We were dealing with a number, and we got a string from a number. We were dealing with a number, and we got a string. ToString is a method on this object. It's a method on this object, but I thought I was dealing with a number. And over here, I thought I was dealing with an array. But it's just all objects. You've been doing this since day one. It's just all objects. It was length properties. It was ToString methods, right? It's just all objects all the way down, right? So every single thing in JavaScript is an object. And here's the really, really cool thing that's happening. What if a number, right? What if a number doesn't have a ToString method, right? What if a number doesn't have a ToString method? What's it going to do? Chat. If a number doesn't have a ToString method, what's it going to do? Yeah, Bugaboo, exactly. It's going to go ask grandma. It's going to go up the prototype chain, right? It's going to go up the chain. The number, it's going to start with the number. It's going to say, hey, number, do you have this thing that deals with strings? And the number is going to be like, no, you're wild. I am a number. I don't have anything to do with strings, right? So then it goes up and says, hey, number prototype, do you have like this thing that deals with strings? And its parents were like, no, you're talking wild. Go ask grandma. Grandma is going to be something called the global object prototype. The global object prototype is like the grandma to everything, right? The global object prototype is like the grandma to everything. It's the end of the chain, right? Everything inherits properties and methods from this global object, right? Peace, K. Murray. See you soon, right? Everything inherits from this global object. So the number is like, wait a minute. I don't have anything to do with strings, right? And so it goes up the prototype. It looks at the number prototype. It's like, hey, do you have this thing? Like, I'm trying to use this thing called strings. Do you have any idea what it is? And they're like, nah, I have no idea what that's called. Go ask grandma. And so that request goes all the way up the prototype to the global object prototype. And sitting on that prototype, just like grandma had a car, grandma has a ToString method. So my number can use ToString to get string 2. Right? Right? They were able to go all the way up the chain. If we look this up real quick. Global object prototype. Cool. Let's look this up. Let's go to the MDN. The MDN is pretty good. Here are all of the stuff that is on this prototype. So here's all the things that we can use, right? Here are all the things that we can use, all these properties, all these methods that sit on this global object prototype. And as we go up the chain, we're going to find more and more of these. And if we look right here, look at that. Hold on, let me make it bigger so we can all see it. Suddenly blinded. I'm sorry, it's bright. Let's look at it. Would you look at that? 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 Would you just look at it? Look at it. Would you look at it? Object prototype ToString. So The number didn't have it. Number is like toString, never heard of it. And eventually that request goes all the way up the prototype chain until we get to grandma, the object prototype. And since grandma has toString, right? Since grandma has toString, we can use it. And we can use it everywhere. We can use it everywhere. Because if the thing we're trying to use it on doesn't have it, it can go all the way up to grandma and get it. Right? Doesn't matter what we're using. It could be a number. It could be anything. It could just go up the prototype to get that thing. Okay? So this is like the hardest thing we've covered. Okay? This is the hardest thing we covered. But the point here is that objects are these collections of properties and methods, and pretty much everything in JavaScript is an object. Okay? We've seen it. We've used these properties. We've used these methods. We just didn't know we were using them with objects. And sometimes it didn't make sense why these things had things like toString. Well, they didn't. They were just going up this prototype chain, just going up to see grandma to get it. Okay? So, I know this is a hard topic. Right? I know this is a hard topic. I know we're over our time and we didn't even get to the fun stuff. So on Saturday, we're gonna start from here. I think on Saturday, we're just gonna continue class. We're gonna do a review and continue class. So if you want to see the continue of this, right? If you want to see the continuation of this, come on Saturday. I'm just gonna start from right here, and we're gonna get deeper into objects. We're gonna build some of our own. We're gonna see some of the newer syntax, and then we're gonna start having fun with objects. Because here's the fun thing. Once you understand objects, and once you understand that everything is objects, right? And understand everything is objects, well, then we can start doing some fun stuff with those objects. We can start asking for those objects from other sites. We can start asking for cute dog photos. We can start asking for photos from NASA. Right? We can start getting these really cool things that before we didn't understand objects, we can now use and understand. So please come back on Saturday. We're going to pick up right from here and keep going. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night. We're going to end with a raid. Don't leave just yet. Let's do a raid. Let's send some fun and positivity to somebody else on stream, and give them some follows. Give them some love. I got to get a hydration in. Thank you. Cheers to you. And so let's do this raid. And I'll see you over there. Please follow. Give them some love. Say what's up. And we'll be back on Saturday, folks. We got a lot more objects fun to get into. I'm telling you, it's really fun. Next week's going to be amazing. The best week we've ever had. Don't miss next week. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to set up the raid right now. Setting up the raid. Don't go. Just say hello. Come raid with us. All right, setting up the raid. We'll be going off in 10 seconds here. See you all over there. I'm going to come hang out with y'all over there. Give them some love. It's been a wonderful night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all the love. The subs were wild today. We're raiding. Let's raid.